This is Julia Witta, Backstory TV, and I have with me today Ken Rose. We're going to be talking about his newest book, Reincarnation. What is it?
Reincarnation through common sense.
Through common sense. Say with common sense.
That too.
Well, tell us how that works.
Well, you got to have common sense in order to be Well, let me just qualify that. Reincarnation, as I'm referring to it here, is not really the die and come back in another body and that kind of thing. The theory behind this version of reincarnation through common sense is that it happens to us every minute.
Every minute we're making our new life.
Right, with every thought and with every action, certainly, that comes from every thought, you become yourself plus the result of that. And some of these are like very big things, like you take an action and you bet on a winning lottery ticket, or you shoot somebody, or there could be positive, and they have major impacts. And some of them are small, like you decide to eat half an avocado instead of a whole one or whatever. But whatever that is, it changes you, and you are literally not the same person as before. It's often equated to a river, where you're standing on a riverbank and looking at the river, and then you come back the next day and look at that river, and it looks just the same. But it's a totally different river. All the water that you saw running by is 24 hours downstream. That's all new water in that same spot river. The plants, the fish, the leaves that fell in from other places, the activity that's going on underneath the water, in the dirt, any aspect of that river you can think of is no longer the same as it was 24 hours earlier when you looked at it the first time. And in a very profound way, humans are the same. I mean, we repeat habits and actions that have gotten to be just automatic without even thinking about them. And that becomes us day after day after day. But at any given second, we have the option to reincarnate as somebody totally new. Right now, I could go out and decide I want to run for president and start doing it. I can go out and get a rifle and go in a bell tower and start sniping people and start doing it, And all the options, and of course, those are severe, neither one will happen. But any option you can think of in the middle of that is human potential. And that's what it's about. That's what this version of reincarnation is about. Now, the book was written in the Buddhist temple, most of it. Okay. All right, and they lived there for 6 months in Southeast Asia, and I should say that these books aren't really books. I mean, I wrote Fearless Puppy on American Road first, and that was a hitchhiking 35 years of road travel story, a lot more sex, drugs, and rock and roll than that. And then this reincarnation through common sense is a whole lot different because it was, written in a Buddhist temple while I was living there, so there's no sex, drugs, or rock and roll in there.
Right.
But both of these books do have something, and that's the only reason they were written is as a funding vehicle for the project. And the project is to sponsor as many wisdom professionals as possible with the profits from these books, beginning with but not exclusive to Tibetan monks and nuns. Anybody who's read a newspaper during the course of their lives know that we're seriously lacking in wisdom on the planet. All right, the people who are running things are not doing a very good job, and we're not doing a very good job of insisting that they do a good job. And so I figured the best thing I can do on my way out, because I'm getting there, is to leave as much financial support as possible for the increase in the number of wisdom professionals. So if more people want to go and join up and do this kind of thing and devote their lives in any way, shape, or form to the perpetuation of wisdom and the general good of humanity, I don't think they should be stopped by financial concerns. So that was motivation, even writing the books. I never really wanted to write, or I mean, every time I go back to Amazon, another 5-star reviews popped up. So I guess I must accidentally be a good writer from what people are saying. I guess everybody's enjoying the books, but that's not that was never my goal. My goal is to do that and to raise the fund to sponsor the purpose of increasing the number of wisdom professionals. So Fearless Puppy on American Road was the beginning of it, and now Reincarnation Through Common Sense has just come out a week or two ago. And that was the story of me living in this temple, which was pretty weird. I mean, there are a lot of Western boy in an Asian temple stories, but really none are like this. I didn't have a penny in my pocket. I didn't go there to study Buddhism, and that's the main difference, is that most people will go there and write a book about how they went to study Buddhism and what they learned. I went as a lunatic, basically. I had a very bad experience over in Southeast Asia, and the monks and nuns heard the story, felt sorry for me, and said, you can come stay with us if you want. And I was just very grateful for that. And I went there. They said, you don't have to worry about studying any of the Buddha. Do whatever you want, but don't do whatever you don't want. There's your cabin. Just relax. This is your new family here. The monks are your brothers. The nuns are your sisters. And the head monk said, I'm the oldest, and, your oldest brother. The bizarre, even more bizarre part, I mean, I didn't have a penny, not a plane ticket home to America. I couldn't go, like, to buy a beer downtown or food or anything. I just had nothing. So, and I didn't speak the language, and the weird part, well, the whole thing is the weird part. But the part that makes it stranger yet is that none of the people there spoke English, and I didn't speak their language. My friend who spoke both languages and worked as a manager in one of the hotels about 20 miles away, he brought me to that temple and translated the whole thing with the head monk. So I'm sitting there for half a year, and we don't speak the same language. And then I got to write 300 pages worth of book in words, in English, about an experience that basically took place in silence and with sign language and other psycho-spiritual processes, which I never believed in before, but once I got, you can't deny what's stepping on your foot. I mean, it's right there, So it was really a pretty amazing experience, and from what people tell me, the book is pretty unique because it's not somebody going into a temple to study Buddhism and writing about it. It's somebody having a psychotic event and going into a bunch of like just amazing people. These people, compassion is their job description, all right? And that's what I mean by wisdom professional. It doesn't have to be Buddhist. There are certainly Native American wise men and shamans from South America and Hindu sadhus and all kinds of people that have this compassion as their goal. I mean, that's what they do. They just want to, make everybody feel better because they've learned that by doing this, that's the way you make yourself happy.
What made you choose the through common sense?
Because a lot of this fantasy and the fairy dust that comes with religion, spirituality, the dogma, the facts that we get aren't facts, all right? A lot of them are like rusted metaphors that are buried underneath, like years of things getting fantasized. I mean, when you're young and you're still Santa Claus eligible and you got that little soft spot in your head, then you can believe that there's somebody in the sky who's watching over you all the time, and he's a white man with a big beard, and he loves you very much, but you'll burn in hell if you do
anything wrong.
And that kind of stuff. But in reality, all this spirituality is very true, but it's all common sense when you come right down to it. I mean, a lot of the fantasy and fairy dust that's surrounding spirituality, if you break it down, it comes down to just plain common sense. Be nice to somebody else. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to make that other person feel good. Plain law of physics, it's a chain reaction. If you're nice to somebody, they'll be in a better mood. It stands to reason they're going to be nice to the next person they run into. On the other hand, if you do something selfish and greedy, nasty, or whatever, and you're like that to another person, they're not going to be in a good mood, and the next person they run into is going to have to pay the price for what you did to them.
Yeah.
You know? So the simple, common, sensible things like this, the golden rule, things we've known all our lives, but so much esoteric symbolism and basically started out as symbolism, and then it gets bastardized over the centuries. And well, you know how a kid's game of telephone is. You get 20 little kids in a line. You tell somebody, you can even do it with adults, and you tell somebody at the beginning, the moon is blue. And they pass it to the next person, to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. And by the time it gets to the 20th person, you know, that 20th person is saying your feet are glue. You know, no longer the moon is blue. It's just got that twisted going from person to person. Now imagine over a period of 100, hundreds, couple of thousand years, just how bent out of shape those original teachings would get under ordinary circumstances. I mean, in certain spiritual disciplines, a lot of effort has been made to preserve the direct teaching, and there's a lineage, and it's passed down from master to teacher directly, very strict circumstances, and it comes out quite a bit better, but it's still not the original one. And most spiritual disciplines don't take that much time and trouble. They just pass on what they hear, and there's always a cultural inflection. I mean, a lot of what we get as religion is culture.
Yeah. That
was mixed in with a little, like a seed of spirituality from long ago, and has since absorbed a whole lot of cultural overtones. So it's really not that resemblant of the original teaching, which I think was just common sense back in the beginning.
Yeah.
Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. The lilies of the field grow by themselves. You don't see them straining and stressing. There's the Sermon on the Mount. Basically, it's telling people to relax. It's a metaphor for telling people, like, don't get all stressed out and try to fit 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag. It's not going to work. Just take it easy and let the universe get into you, because if you're constantly wrapped up with your own high-stress nonsense, there's no door. I mean, you have to be tuned to what you want to hear. And this, again, is common sense. It's not that there's nothing out there. There's certainly something out there in the way of a divine reference source. Maybe it's just all of us put together as the universe, whatever. But if you don't tune yourself, your radio station, to that frequency, it's just like a radio. There could be just the station you want to listen to playing, but if you got it tuned to a different station, you're not going to be hearing it.
Right.
So you got to make sure that you tune your radio to the station that you want to hear, metaphysically speaking, and that's just common sense.
Okay, I get it.
And that's how you get reincarnated time after time in the direction you want to go. All right? Use your common sense to decide where you want to go, what you want to be. Tune yourself to that, and it'll come to you. You know, assistance doing it will come to you from within, and as it comes to you from within, all the thing, you start attracting that. You start attracting what you're focusing on and what you're directed towards. If all you want to do is make money and you just keep going out there and grinding 20 hours a day just to do the job and make more money, you're going to make more money. If what you want to do is be happy, then you're going to move in that direction and put all the effort into that. And it comes back to you attract what you're tuned to.
Yeah.
So that's the reincarnation and the common sense there.
Okay, I got it. So, where can people buy the book?
Oh, the website is www.fearlesspuppy.org. All right, and from there, there's a direct link to Amazon Create Space. There's also a lot of interview sample chapters from both books, from Fearless Puppy and Reincarnation. There's a lot of newspaper articles from old projects that I've done with, some have involved the governor, a couple of senators, and pro sports teams and rock stars, different famine relief and helping orphanage efforts that I've done in years past.
Okay.
So there's some interest in bio and historical information there. But it can also be gotten direct from Amazon, or folks can go into their bookstores, local bookstores, and ask them to order it. I don't think it'll be sitting on the shelves right away until enough people go in and request it. And then at that point, they'll start shipping it in automatically.
If they want to ask to order it, they would say the title is Reincarnation Through Common Sense, and the author is
Doug Tenrose.
Doug Tenrose. Okay.
Yeah. And that would be easy enough. Just go in and ask the bookstore to get it, and they'll get it. And eventually, I think they'll be in the bookstores all by themselves. But in the early going of the process, you have to order, go in and request it, and then they order it from the warehouser, and then they ship it in. And of course, it could be gotten on Amazon itself. And CreateSpace is actually a branch of Amazon. They do the print-on-demand things, and that's where actually the project makes the most money.
Okay.
Is if you order it through the website, which is www.fearlesspuppy.org. And Fearless Puppy is spelled just like it sounds, Fearless and Puppy.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much, Julia. Always nice to see you.